too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish things that aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our
As the world watches and listens in horror, the peaceful pro-democracy demonstration in China comes to a violent and bloody end.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Wolves hiding nearby, whispering do or die around me. You say your last good night while I
There is another very important phase of warfare. It has as its target not the body, but the mind of the enemy.
The target of psychological warfare is against the enemy's mind.
It is words and ideas.
The ammunition used by Psywar.
Its mission is to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier, and at the same time
is expected and encouraged to study foreign languages and the social sciences such as history, economics, and sociology. He must have a broad and sympathetic understanding of all phases of human experience.
gripping at my skin, the walls of night close in.
But the use of this force as an integral part of combat has now taken on new form.
As I wait to say my last goodbye.
These are the Psywar soldiers.
Hey YouTube, welcome to Hope for Survival. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. If you're new, thanks for checking us out. And thank you to the regular followers. It's much appreciated. Sorry, it's been about 10 days since I got to drop the last video. I've been on the road the last 2 weeks, and it's pretty hectic being away from home and then getting home and tending to the yard and the garden and doing family stuff and other responsibilities, and putting together the newsletter and so on and so forth. And sometimes I just run out of time. But anyway, so here we are, and I wanted to talk to you on a subject of psychological operations. And why I chose to talk on this topic is if you have followed the newsletter the last 5 years, from time to time I would write articles on this topic, psychological psychosis, things of that nature, and how many of the things that I see happening in our country I witnessed at a previous point in my life, being deployed on other countries, so on and so forth. And it was, it has been alarming over the last 10 plus years, seeing these pieces put together and things that are there today that were started 10, 12 or so years ago. And it's new to many of you. It's it would be like sitting down to play a game of checkers. Against a computer. That'd probably be the fairest way to say it. And you're thinking about the move you're going to make, and the computer has already made all their moves within the computer. You're trying to figure out what you're going to do in response to the computer's move, whereas the computer has already figured out every possible move you can make. And multiply that by probably 10, 50, 100. Point being, much of what we're seeing today was planned long ago. These are just not happenstance events and decisions. Many of these things has been global jockeying, political jockeying over the course of many years. The advantage to the United States has, for many years, has been that we have, for the most part, had a strong industrial base to push a strong economy, and the fact that we print our own money, which over a period of time has gone from politicians being accountable to their people, and now it's the people are accountable to their politicians, and they just keep printing and spending. And you hear politicians in debates or campaign trails, and they tell you all the great things they're going to do, and they all cost money, and no one asks, well, where's this money coming from? But anyway, a week or so ago, I was having a text message conversation with Festus, and I was pointing some things out that are upside down, and right is wrong and wrong is right, and so on and so forth. And they're distractions. And he reminded me of something that I said to him probably 12, 13, 14 years ago in one of our early conversations on preparedness, and it started us down this path of where we are today. And not only preparing but trying to find each piece and determine possible outcomes, Agenda 2030, politics, and so on. And he reminded me of something I said to him, which is 100% true. And that is, I don't remember the topic we were talking about years ago, but I said to him, just remember, things that appear to you are not as they are. Meaning what you see is often not reality. That there's many things around you that you see one way, but they're actually something else. And I can't really elaborate on it much more than that, but the whole point is it's all psychological, and it's very, very easy to throw a breadcrumb out and get those to follow the breadcrumbs to wherever you want them to go. It may be towards something or away from something, depending what that something is. And it's so easy to have events to get people to focus on the events, to persuade you one way or the other, or to get you to invest your time on that topic when there's another topic or two or three that they want you away from, that something else now has your attention. We have to be very, very careful that we don't go hook, line, and sinker head first into things, and we need to basically stay grounded and be able to pivot from point to point. And over the last few years, I've strongly encouraged the 5-mile radius, and I've strongly encouraged you to stay focused on a reality of many of the things we're facing. And that is what happens around you and near you, and understanding what's around you and near you, and being able to survive those type events. And other than that's a true fact that you are most likely going to be impacted by local events. Part of why I tried to sway you away from the national or global events is because of what I'm talking about. And that is psychological operations, leading, being in tune and alert enough to block your mind from things that are trying to occupy your mind or sway you. A good example is the debate the other night. Yeah, it was ugly. No matter how you look at it, it's concerning for a lot of reasons. It's concerning that the whole world was watching. It's concerning because it appeared that it made us look weak. Who's in charge, so on and so forth. But since the debate, I know a lot of Republicans and conservatives have been voicing that the current president needs to step down. He's got to go. Let me ask you a question. Of all the possible candidates they could put on that ticket, the 4 months from an election, the one that we know that we have the highest probability of defeating is the current ticket. So why would we be wanting them to switch tickets at this time for the election, right? That we want the former president to run against someone else. Just speaking from the election perspective. As an American from a position of who's guiding the ship right now, that is, to me, that is a greater concern than who's going to be on the ticket come November. But we have to stay with our game plan. They're going to continue doing both international and national. They're going to be doing all kind of psychological operations to persuade you one way or the other. There's some major things that are going on right now that are not political that could have devastating impacts on our short and long-term survivability. And these are things that are happening with the weather, things of that nature. The planetary alignment, the sun, these weather phenomena and things of that nature. The heat has been very impacting on my personal garden, but equally having to be away and not being able to tend to it as much as I normally do has also impacted it. But I have noticed differences in how things are growing this year compared to the last few years. It has me in thought. Concern as to in a 5 or 6 or 7 month growing season, growing as much as I can to supplement any food plan. If we continue having summers like the one we're having right now, extreme heat, no rain. So that's within my 5 mile radius. That's a home thing, and it's something that has to have focus. But on the Psyops part of it, you've probably been noticing more conversations pertaining to internment camps, prison camps, internment camps in all 50 states. The government is spending more money to build more. They're contracting this work out. We can look at it two ways. We can look at it from a political perspective, or we can look at it from the perspective of more natural events occurring that is going to drastically impact food availability, and they're going to have a source to bring people to have food, because if they don't, you're going to have riots in the streets and crime is going to shoot through the roof. But there's more and more people that are talking. This used to be a tinfoil hat topic, and now you have some mainstream voices that are giving it a little credence, which it is what it is. I find it a little humorous, but only because we were tinfoil hat wearing Looney Tunes 5-10 years ago, and now they're talking about it. Another item I wanted to point out was I think we wrote about this 4 or 5 years ago in the beginning when we first started talking about MK Ultra. I heard a talking head the other night talking about the concern after the debate, but there was a conversation in regard to the asking the question, and the voice pointed out that a few other foreign countries, the same questions being asked within their country. And as bizarre as this question is going to sound, it was, why do we need a government? And the reason I bring this up is because back around 2014, I think it was 2015-ish, a podcast that Festus and I was watching, they were at a World Telecommunication Conference in Barcelona, Spain, and one of the briefers at the conference was talking about in the future, you're not going to see governments as they are right now. Okay, countries are going to be run by big tech, big corporations. The militaries of the countries will be provided by the UN. You won't have real estate offices. Everything, buying a home, will be through a bank. There was a whole list of things they were talking about that would come in the future. But I found it interesting that the other night this individual was talking about it, and we heard this 8-10 years ago. So as bizarre as it sounded then, I was kind of shocked to hear it brought up the other night. So there's more to come. There's crazy stuff out there. Just be super careful. Be super careful that you are not being psychologically manipulated through mainstream media, podcast. I don't watch them, but I scan probably at least 100 podcast titles a day. And they're all over the place. When you look at, we have the possibility of World War III, we have Pacific issues, Middle East issues, we got European issues, we got domestic issues at home, we got financial issues, we got issues galore. But so many of the podcasts are all over the place in topics they're talking about, which there's nothing wrong with that. I find it interesting when I scan through comments that people make on the topics, and it gives you a sense of where people are and what they're thinking. And honestly, I'm not real sure where some of these people get some of their information. But to each his own. All I can tell you is from experience in my former life, it is very easy to make a mud pie and throw some whipped cream on it and convince you that it is a soft chocolate, and you'll love it. Make sense? And even when you say, this is mud, this is dirt, this is nasty, they're going to convince you, no, it's not. That is a chocolate pie, and you're going to love it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you to be cautious and careful. It is intensifying out there. I'm seeing more and more things professionally and personally. It's like so many things are falling apart. Just I'll leave it at that. Okay, but so many things and systems are just falling apart. Okay, this goes with infrastructure, this goes with defense, this goes with people. So keep your feet grounded. Just because you watch it doesn't mean you have to believe it. Okay? Don't follow the rabbit down the hole. Okay? Anyway, if you like this video, hit like. And thanks for sharing your time with me here. And I'm trying to get a video together to post on some different types of affordable night vision. It's just very time consuming getting everything set up to do it. But hopefully before I'm 80 I'll be able to get it together and share it with you. So again, if you like this video, hit like. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe and share with others, and try to keep getting more and more people aboard in preparedness. They're going to need it. They're going to need it. But don't get yourself down and depressed when you get rejected. Just know that you tried. All right? So have a great Sunday. Stay hydrated. If you don't have to be outside, don't be outside. And stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel. And don't forget to give thanks. And remember, we are all blessed. Bravo Echo out.